about 2 billion years ago, marine organisms like algae and microscopic animals and plants died and settled on the ocean floor. Beneath other sediments in the ocean and in the absence of oxygen, these fossils change into a substance called kerogen. Under heat and pressure, kerogen gradually changes into oil or gas. The process usually takes at least 1,000,000 years. At the molecular level, oil and gas are hydrocarbons made out of hydrogen and carbon atoms. The constant pressure and movement of the Earth's crust squeeze oil and gas through the pores and space between rocks. Some oil and gas reaches the Earth's surface and seeps out naturally into land or water.
Organic wastes are composed of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen. The majority resulting from the death of living creatures, animal or vegetal, are generally destroyed and digested by bacteria. But certain are deposited on the bed of enclosed seas, lagoons, and lakes, delta, or other aquatic environment poor in oxygen. They are therefore protected from bacterial action. There, the organic matter mixes with sediment, sand, clay, salt, and accumulate in successive layers over millions of years. The most ancient layers are buried under the more recent. These layers are pushed down by their own mass, the phenomenon of a plate tectonic disturbing the earth mantle, break them up and take them deeper into the earth crust. The further the sediment layer subside, the more the temperature and pressure increase. Chemical reaction eliminate the nitrogen atom and the remain of oxygen. There leave only molecules formed from the carbon and hydrogen, which constitute the liquid and gaseous hydrocarbon. These hydrocarbons are to be found of the hard rock called the source rock.
Migration of oil takes place in two distinct phases, known as primary migration and secondary migration. As more and more the sediments get deposited, the underlying sediments get compact and oil from the source rock is expelled. This oil starts moving vertically upwards and known as primary migration. The expelled oil keeps moving upward towards the surface till it comes across an impervious rock known as the cap rock. This cap rock stops the further upward migration of oil. As a consequence, the oil starts moving laterally within the horizon and gets concentrated in the pore space of the reservoir rock where it accumulates to form oil pools. This process is known as secondary migration. During the process of accumulation of oil within the reservoir, gravity separation of water, oil, and gas takes place within the reservoir. Water being the heaviest occupies the lowest portion, oil in the middle, and gas being the lightest occupies the upper parts of the pay zone.
Within the crust, oil and gas deposits build up and form reservoirs. Reservoirs are like vast sponges filled with oil and gas. They can be as large as a city. To find oil and gas deposits, geologists use a number of different survey techniques including seismic survey, gravitational surveys, and geological mapping. Seismic survey uses reflected sound waves to produce a 3D view of the Earth's interior. New technologies such as four-dimensional projections and sophisticated graphic renderings of rock structure are improving the way we find conventional oil and gas deposits. Energy resources that are currently difficult or expensive to extract are called unconventional oil and gas.
The first one is a structural trap. This is when rock layers are deformed or displaced by tectonic force such as folding or faulting. For example, anticline traps are full of rock layers. Oil and gas migrate to the highest part of the fold where the overlying impermeable layers trap it. Next, the salt-dome trap. This is when a large submass rises through the rock layers due to its lower density. As it rises, it pushes aside and breaks through many layers of rock in its path. Finally, the stratigraphy trap. This is when the trap is caused by the change in the character or composition of the rock layer rather than its position. For example, a sandbar can form a porous and permeable layer that contains oil and gas within a impermeable layer such as shale or limestone. So these are some types of trap that can create petroleum reservoir.